The universe rewards the actor, not the worker. And it's likely that you spend years and years playing the role of the worker, leaving you wondering why things don't work out as well for you as they do for other people. Well, today I'm going to show you how to act in a way in which the universe recognizes and has no option but to give you your desired reality. But before I get into the good part of this video, which is of course the split screen where I put my notion on, in spirits of the Oscars being announced last week, Timothée Chalamet should have won. Argue with your mom, argue with your grandmother, argue with your dad even, but Timothée Chalamet should have won. You guys weren't there when I was watching Marty Supreme in the cinema. You guys weren't there when I was reinvigorated by that film. Sinners was good though. It's my black brother. But Marty Supreme and Timothée Chalamet deserved that Grammy. But you let me know. Let me know down below in the comments who you think should have won. It could have been Leonardo DiCaprio, whoever. But anyways, into the point of this video. We bring on. Yeah. Anyways, so in this video, I'm essentially going to be teaching you why actors have the key to reality and why everyone needs to act, and how the only way in which you can get your desired reality through reality creation is to act. And in fact, the only way you have been getting your reality that you have right now is through acting. The first thing that I need to tackle in this video is quantum physics. And there's this theory that everything exists all at once, and also that everything is energy. And even on a religious level, God created everything in those first 6 days. He created the water, the lands, then human beings, then humans, which is a big distinction. One day I think I'll make a video on that. And since those first 6 metaphorical days, he hasn't created anything else. Thus meaning that since the beginning of time, since that initial creation, everything has existed and will continue to exist, right? So this means that your reality, the very thing that you want, the very life that you want, exists, and it has existed since the beginning of time. Even simple things like Bluetooth, all the time, even Wi-Fi. I promise you, every week, I don't know, it's my Roman Empire. Every week, I just sit down, it randomly happens, and I wonder how the hell people made Wi-Fi, right? And the very fact that Wi-Fi, the things that we needed to make Wi-Fi were there when Adam and Eve were the only humans on earth. Like niggas could have made Wi-Fi 5,000 years ago, but instead it was created 40 years ago, 50 years ago. It's crazy. It's crazy the amount of things that human beings have been able to do. But the point is, in quantum physics, everything exists all at once, and there's also no time concept in the quantum realm, meaning that 1,000 years ago and 1,000 years from now, there's nothing like that. It's all happening now, and everything has all been happening now throughout time. And there hasn't been throughout time on the quantum realm. It's just been happening. It just exists, and certain potentialities are accessed now, right? But it's always now. Then on the religious level, nothing has been created since those 6 days. God has not created anything, and some say that he's still resting. The 7th day, where they talk about rest, is still now. So anyways, that was to lay the groundwork onto the parallel universe theory. So the parallel universe theory is essentially this theory that there exist millions, not even millions, infinite amounts of parallel universes in which many different things are occurring. For example, in a parallel universe, you may be a stripper, right? In a parallel universe, you may be a actor winning the Oscars. Did I say Grammys in the beginning? I always mix up Grammys and Oscars when it comes. But anyways, and in another parallel universe, you may be a cocaine addict. Yeah. And in another parallel universe, you have your desired reality, right? So the base premise that I want you to get from this, in the parallel universe theory, there exists infinite amount of universes, infinite amount of realities in which you exist as well. So the fact that there exists infinite amounts of realities means that the exact reality that you currently desire is something that is already there. And this is amazing because it means that you don't create anything. Your desired reality already exists right here, right now. See, it's not even somewhere in the future. It's not even something you have to work towards and you can only get in 20 years from now. Theoretically and realistically, you could have it right now. You can tap into it right now on an energetic level, which is the most important level to tap into it on. Because if you look at the physical plane and if you look at everything that is, we can only see 0.0035% of what is there. What we can see is far less than what is unseen. So if you match with your parallel reality, the reality that you want on an unseen level, it is actually far more real than you matching on it and you having the things in real life. Energetic matching, or energetic, let's go with energetic matching. Energetic matching is far more important than you possessing something physically, because you can possess something physically, but if you don't energetically match it, it will soon fall out of your life and you'll say, it was never meant for me. God doesn't want me to have this. No, you just didn't match with it vibrationally. What's going on in my English? But the point is, you can tap into your desired reality right now, even if the physical plane isn't reflecting that, right? So I've covered this 0.0035 anyways. So if you embody that which you want in the unseen, it is more real than it's appearing in the physical realm. And you see this in the Bible. A lot of times we are told to store up our treasures in heaven. We are told to seek the kingdom of God and that the kingdom of God is within you. We are also first told that when you pray, after you pray, act as if your prayer were answered and it would be answered so, meaning that you have to act, you have to vibrationally feel that, I've received this thing. You have to believe that, I've received this thing, it is done, it is finished, and only then will you receive the thing that you've prayed for. This is exactly what embodying something vibrationally is. It's believing, to have conviction, to alter your perception, to alter all those things, the keys of consciousness that I'll get into later in this video. Right? So when you're looking at this parallel universe theory, everything exists. That's the one thing I want you to get from this section, that everything exists. Now, going on to the next section, you need to realize that we are all actors. Like I said before, the way that you are in your current reality is because you were acting. The way that you're going to enter into another reality unconsciously is because you are acting in accordance to that reality. The way in which you can get into your dream reality is by acting. We are all actors. And in fact, Shakespeare has a lovely quote which I'm going to read. Now imagine I'm in the 1600s reading this. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women are merely players. They have their exits and entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, made to his mistress' eyebrow. Anyways, the point you get it, the important part that I want you to get is all the world's a stage, and all the men and women are merely players. They have their exits and entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. If you go through your life, you will find that you've acted in different ways and you've had different roles in this life of yours. At one point, you were a school child. At one point, you were a university student. At another point, you were an intern. See, each of these things are roles that you were playing, but you saw them as realities. Life is just a game. Life is a stage. And you get to choose the role that you play. Contrary to popular belief, if you don't choose the role that you want to play, the role will be assigned to you by the people around you. And even worse, people who don't even know you will assign that role. You need to understand that acting is a pivotal part of the life that you live. Acting is an unavoidable part of the life that you live. Acting falls in the same branch or same category as fashion, reality creation, and obviously acting. The reason why fashion, reality creation, and acting fall in the same branch is because no matter how much you dislike them, no matter how much you like these realms, you are going to have to play the game. Fashion, for example, no matter what you think about fashion, no matter whether you think it's stupid, every single day you play the game. Every single day you're putting on clothes, and people are going to judge you for the clothes that you're wearing. It's an unavoidable game. Right? The only way you can avoid the game of fashion is walking out naked, and even which you're still playing the game of fashion, just in a very, very weird way. Yeah. Likewise, reality creation, whether you like it or not, whether you believe in it or not, you are always going to be creating a reality. You are always manifesting something. Why? Because that is how we are. We are made in the image of God. The reality that you are living right now is a consistent manifestation of your state of consciousness. The reality that you will continue to live will be a consistent manifestation of your state of consciousness. You are always going to be playing this game. The only difference is I am letting it be a conscious process, for you. If you're always going to play a game, you might as well play it well. You might as well play it consciously. You might as well get the most out of it. And likewise, acting. You are always going to act a certain way. So you might as well learn how to act in a way that the universe recognizes and has no chance but to give you your desired reality. But that's what we're going to get into. You need to realize that acting is a blueprint for reality creation. And not only that, it's a blueprint for life. To fall asleep, you must first act as if you're asleep. To become fit, to have a wonderful body, to, just gain some muscle, you first must act as if you're already fit, muscular, by adopting the habits of a fit and muscular person. If you're a woman, let's say a bit slim, curvy, whatever it is that you want. To have a successful business, you must first act as if you already have the successful business by doing the things, thinking similarly, and operating in the same way as an already successful business owner, even though your business isn't quite successful yet. To be in love with your partner, you have to act as if you are in love, even when you don't particularly like them. And I know this sounds weird, it sounds toxic, but those who know, no, there are moments where you're going to be like, get out of my face, but you still have to act in love in those moments. See, true acting, not what you see on the movies, but it's even shown in what you see on the movies. True acting is an all-engrossing activity. What I mean by this is when you act in an engrossing way, in a way in which the best actors in the world act, is they lose their sense of self. They slowly start permeating and become the role in which they are acting. This is a photo from American Psycho here. Christian Bale, the actor, one of my favorite actors of all time. I used to have this thing. My three favorite actors are actually Christian Bale, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Brad Pitt. And what I used to do is I'll just go on Netflix and I'll just search Christian Bale. And I'd watch every movie with Christian Bale on Netflix. And I did the same for Brad Pitt. And I did the same for Leonardo DiCaprio. I did the same for Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, those are my four favorite actors. If those aren't your four favorite actors, then I don't know what you're doing. Timothy Chalamet is slowly getting there because that nigga hits in The King, in Dune 1, Dune 2, and Marty Supreme. Dune 3 is coming out this year. That's his Grammy movie. But anyways, a lot of actors on the set of American Psycho reported that when Christian Bale was at work, it was a weird thing being around him because you could sense that he was no longer himself. With each day that they performed this movie, that they were filming it, he became more like the American Psycho. What's the name of the American? Patrick Bateman. He became more like Patrick Bateman. So you see, and this has happened in so many things. I don't know if you guys have watched The Joker or you've watched The Dark Knight. Heath Ledger got so engrossed in his role that he eventually lost himself to that role. He lost his sense of self. This is a common phenomenon amongst actors. Actors get so lost in their role that even after they are done, they forget who they were before. They start speaking differently. They now have new mannerisms. They now think differently. They even think differently. I wrote think differently twice. But another one is they will have a different emotional state that matches the character that they were impersonating or playing. Sorry. And you need to act. Lord, fix my English. Anyways, you need to realize that you act daily. Acting isn't reserved for actors, for actresses. It's not reserved for only those people. You act daily. The way you are at work is an act. Is that your true self? Perhaps it's a part of you, but you act in that way. The way you are in your relationship is probably more of who you are as an actual person, but it's still an act, right? The way you are in front of your parents, you're acting. The way you are in front of your friends, it's an act. The way you are in public, it's an act. See, these 5 different things, and you could extend this list to on the sports field, in the gym, in the corporate arena. All these things are ways in which you act, and it's very likely that neither one of them are the same. For example, the way you are in your relationship compared to any one of these things. I'll argue that your partner, your girlfriend, your boyfriend knows you better than anyone else. That's if you have a real healthy relationship. I know some of you do that toxic shit. I don't know what you do. I don't know why you put yourself in those situations. But actually, it's a state of consciousness issue, and you will be able to fix that if you continue watching this video. But anyways, the point is, in these 5 things and the other ones that I listed, you act in different manners, right? You're putting on an act. You're not being your true self. You're putting on a mask. And that mask is still you. It's just an aspect of you, right? See, the only difference now is that your method of acting is going to be for the dream reality that you want. See, I used to have this belief, and it's likely that you have it as well, that I used to think that for me to enter my dream reality, I had to change absolutely everything. I had to change the way I looked. I had to buzz off my hair. I had to gain muscle. I had to change the way I spoke. I had to change my vocabulary, improve my vernacular. Right? I had to do so many different things, get better at talking to women. I had to do so many different things just for my reality to change. And what did I want to change? I wanted to make more money. But I told myself I have to become stronger in the gym. I have to have more muscle. I have to have more women by my side. I have to have all these things, right? A lot of the times we fool ourselves into thinking that we have to change so many different things. And all that is the old frequency trying to keep you in place, because it recognizes that it will be very hard for you to change everything, and you will never be able to change everything about yourself before you can make a change in that arena. What will likely happen, what happened to me, is I'll get frustrated because I couldn't change all of these minute things. I couldn't improve my breath work. I couldn't improve all these silly little things that weren't related to me making more money. But because I thought that I needed to change all those things, and I didn't, I was never able to make any more money, right? See, most of society has fooled themselves into thinking that they need to change drastically to achieve their dreams. The day you come into contact with someone who has achieved your wildest dreams is the day you will find out that there's actually absolutely nothing special about them. One of my clients, he's 8-figure client, probably even 9-figure. He's never disclosed to me the full amount. But I talk to him every week, and I just realized that this guy is no different to me. In fact, he's not the most impressive person I've met. Talking to him has shown me that the only difference between people is a state of consciousness. The very person that you look up to, the only difference between you and them is a state of consciousness, right? He is not more disciplined than me when it comes to the gym. He is not, or he is better. He is probably better than me at communicating right now, but he's also like 50. But that's not the point. What I realize is I'm quite similar to this person, and they just have that one thing that I don't have, and it's the appropriate state of consciousness. I don't have an 8-figure, 9-figure state of consciousness. I don't, but he does, and that's the reason why he has an 8-figure, 9-figure reality. That's the reason why he gets those opportunities. People think that opportunity goes to Nepo babies, it goes to specific people, it goes to white people, oh, it goes to Indians, it goes to Muslims, it goes to black people. No. Opportunity goes to the people who have the state of consciousness that attracts those things. But with all that being said, I've told you about the importance of acting and how you are always going to act and all that. Now, I'm going to go into universal acting. This is essentially acting in a way in which the universe cares about. So I don't want you to see the multi-dimensional sequence of events. Like, relax, be patient. So universal acting, you need to realize that the universe doesn't care about how good your acting appears to other people, but rather how it appears to itself being the universe. It doesn't care if you have all the flashy cars. It doesn't care if you outwardly have the confidence that your desired reality would bring you. It doesn't care. It doesn't care if you go to the gym and now you look like the business owner that you look up to. It absolutely does not care and pays no mind to those things. See, you need to realize that it doesn't matter what actions you take, but rather who you are on a frequency level. And the best way to illustrate this is to bring in neuroKnowledge's concept of the multi-dimensional sequence of events. Essentially what this is it covers how reality unfolds, the true cause of everything in your reality. And going on to it right now. Please. Yes. So, the multi-dimensional sequence of events follows. It starts off with a frequency. That frequency goes to intuition. Intuition goes to mental nudges. Mental nudges goes to action. Then action to reality. That is the multi-dimensional sequence of events in terms of reality creation. So, frequency is interchangeable for state of consciousness. That's the phrase that I like using, but it's the same thing. State of consciousness. All these things, they're the same thing. So, your state of consciousness, let's say you're in a poor state of consciousness, or you're trying to grow your business, you're currently stuck at a revenue ceiling of 10K a month, and you want to make 20K, you've been stuck there for 6 months. Right now, you have the state of consciousness of someone who's making 10K a month. Therefore, downstream, you're going to have the intuition of someone who's making 10K a month. Because you have the intuition of someone who makes 10K a month, you're going to have the mental nudges of someone who makes 10K a month. Those mental nudges will tell you to do random things. Oh, change this video. Oh, call this person. Things that you can't really explain. Because you have the mental nudges of someone who makes 10K a month, you're going to take the action of someone that makes 10K a month. Now, because you've taken all these things of someone who makes 10K a month, you're going to have the reality of someone that makes 10K a month. Now see, people will see action because action is the first thing that you're able to see in this multi-dimensional sequence of events. And they'll say that action is the cause of reality. Action isn't the cause of reality. It is simply a midwife, as Nero says, of reality. It's a midwife of your state of consciousness into reality. I like to say it's the messenger. So your state of consciousness is the original message. Action is the messenger, and the receiver, that being reality, is, So your state of consciousness leads to a certain action downstream, and that action leads to the reality. However, if you were to change the action, you wouldn't change the reality. The reason why this is true is because you see so many people, New Year's comes, and they're like, damn, tired of being fat. People think fat is a slur. Well, it's not good to call someone fat. If you can call someone skinny, you can call them fat. It's the same thing. It's just opposite ends of the same coin. Different sides of the same coin, right? So people, New Year's will roll around and like, my New Year's resolution is to not be fat. I want to drop 20 kgs. So then they'll start adopting the actions of someone who is 20 kgs lighter than them. They'll go to the gym, eat healthy, all these things. They'll be strong for 3 days. The 4th day, they're like, it's calm. I've been good for 3 days. It's calm. Come back tomorrow. And then they slowly start waning off until they're back to their old self, back to their old habits. And they were taking the actions of someone who was 20 kgs lighter than them. But because they hadn't changed their state of consciousness, their state of consciousness prevailed and thus maintained the reality that they were in. One thing you need to realize is that you will never be able to outrun your state of consciousness. Every time that you try to change your actions without first trying to change your state of consciousness is you thinking that you can outrun your state of consciousness. You can do all the cold outreach that you want. You can do all the cold calls. You can create even the best funnel in the world. But if your state of consciousness is vibrationally aligned with poverty. All those things are not going to matter. You are going to live in a state of poverty. You're going to create a reality in a state of poverty. And you see this so much in Zimbabwe. For those of you who don't know, I'm from Zimbabwe. I currently live in Zimbabwe. And the sad thing is, most people in Zim do everything right. It's like they work, they add value to the market. They are very intelligent, very literate. In fact, I think we have the highest literacy rate in Africa, in Zimbabwe, right? People do all these things, financial planning, financial literacy, they learn all these things. And on the surface level, they do everything right, but somehow things don't work out on an individualistic level. Of course, people say the economy, the government, all of these things, but on a purely individualistic level, you see that people stay in the same place regardless of the activities or the actions that they take. The reason why they stay in the same place is because they haven't altered their state of consciousness. They have viewed action as their savior. They have viewed action as the cause of their reality. So they will see something wrong with their reality and try to change with action. Trying to change something wrong in your reality by taking action is like trying to change an effect by trying to change an effect. It doesn't work. It's the equivalent of, let's say, water is boiling in a pot, and you're like, I want to cool this water down to like cold, right? Instead of turning off the gas, you start adding ice cubes. Like, that doesn't work. Yes, there will be like a temperature drop, maybe 5 temperatures drop, but that gas stove is always going to prevail. Likewise, your frequency, your state of consciousness is always going to prevail above the actions that you take, right? To truly change your reality, you're going to need to change your state of consciousness or frequency. There's no two ways about it. The frequency that you're in right now is in resonance with the life that you're living, the reality that you're experiencing. Likewise, the frequency of your desired reality is in resonance with your physical desired reality. So, now that you know that frequency is a true cause of the reality that you're living, the next question to ask is, how do you act in a way that alters your frequency? And by the way, if you're a 6-figure entrepreneur who knows they have an internal subconscious block that has been preventing them from making the amount of money that they know they should be making, click the first link in the description to apply to work with me. But anyways, the question that you're now asking now, shameless plug. The question that you're now asking now is, or you should be asking now, is, okay, how do I act in a way that the universe recognizes? Anyways, we'll get into that. See, acting on action will never yield to you obtaining your desired reality. I've covered that. The reason why it appears so is that sometimes when you act, you begin to subconsciously change your state of consciousness, which is actually the true cause of reality, as I've said. To explain this further, what will happen is, like, for people who, let's say they start going to the gym, they start eating healthy. As they do that more and more and more, they start to change their state of consciousness. They're no longer in the state of consciousness as someone who is fat. I don't know why I said fat with so much figure, but they're no longer in the state of consciousness as someone who's fat, and eventually stop being fat. They have the state of consciousness of someone that's fit, and their reality soon comes to reflect their state of consciousness. The true way to act is to act on a frequency level. Now that takes me into the next point, how to act on a frequency level. To act in a way in which the universe recognizes is to act on a frequency level. And to act in that way, you must first have emotionally experienced that which you desire, right? One thing you need to recognize is that everything stems from your subconscious mind. Your frequency comes from your subconscious mind. State of consciousness, whatever you call it, comes from your subconscious mind. And this is shown in the Bible when it says, guard your heart, for all things you do flow from it. For a long time, I used to think your heart was your heart. No, your heart is your deeper mind. Your deeper mind is your subconscious mind. So essentially, guard your subconscious mind, for all you do flows from it. In the context of this video, you need to alter your subconscious mind, because all you do flows from it, and it will affect reality. So your frequency comes from your heart, your subconscious mind, and emotion programs the subconscious mind. So if you have emotionally experienced that which you desire, you have altered your frequency. And the way that you emotionally experience something is through either actual experience or observed. So sometimes you will see, let's say, a loved one go through something terrible. I don't want to put some family members on blast, but there's certain things that I've observed that I never physically went through that now they have altered my subconscious mind. And I recognized this last week, right? I'm just going to be honest. I don't care. There are certain situations where I observed that family members were treated differently, whether they did well or didn't do well in school. And I was always doing decently well in school, so I never really experienced it to the extreme. But my sister, God bless her, there were times where she didn't do as well. And yeah, she felt the full brunt of that treatment, where it's like, oh, when you're doing amazing, like, oh, parents love you, they're treating you amazing. Now when you do badly, get a bad report card, you come home, they like, get a load of this guy. And it wasn't intentional on their part. I know for a fact that they were raised much worse than we are, but we were also children, you know. But yeah, so it doesn't have to be something that you've gone through. It can be observed. And you see this on social media. Most people are traumatized by relationships that they've never even been in. Why? Because they'll hop on social media and their favorite influencer will tell them about a time in which they were cheated and their boyfriend, they were cheated on, and their boyfriend not only cheated on them with a woman, but with 5 niggas at the same time. And you listen to that, you're like, damn. It invokes emotion. And emotion is the language of the subconscious mind. So the more you tap into these things on social media, the more you allow yourself to experience that emotional reaction, the more the things you see on social media will program your subconscious mind. Right? So the way in which to act on a frequency level is to emotionally experience that which you want to do. Because when you emotionally experience that which you want, right, you will be tackling the frequency domino. So let's say what you want right now is to emotionally, or to act as someone who's making $20,000 a month, right? So once you've emotionally experienced making $20,000 a month, right, it will be embedded in your subconscious mind. It will alter your frequency, your state of consciousness. Now, because you have the state of consciousness of someone who makes $20,000 a month, you have the intuition of someone who makes $20,000 a month. Because you have the intuition of someone who makes $20,000 a month, you have the mental nudges of someone who makes $20,000 a month. Now, because you have the mental nudges of someone who makes $20,000 a month, you will now take the action of someone who makes $20,000 a month. Now, because you take action of someone who makes $20,000 a month, you will now have the reality of someone that makes $20,000 a month. See, if you seek to act on the action level, you will still have the reality of what you are acting out on a frequency state of consciousness level. Why? Because you will never be able to outrun your state of consciousness. So that is how you act in a way in which the universe recognizes. Now, the way in which you can emotionally experience that which you haven't experienced physically is through what I call internal alchemy. I just call it that because it's cool, but you'll recognize that this is a normal thing. So in internal alchemy, it's something that I tell all of my clients to do, is to find a quiet place where they will be undisturbed, sit, close their eyes, and be still. Now, what I want you to do is to relax until you reach a meditative state, a state in which you're not drowsy, but you're not really thinking about anything, you're not critically examining anything, you're just existing. And then there, visualize a short scene that would imply the unfoldment of your desired reality. The reason why this is important is because a lot of the times we think that we want the physical thing or the object of our desired reality. You think that you want $20,000 a month. it's very likely that you want the admiration from someone close to you. That's what matters more. Or you want the status that you think you will get, or you want the emotion that you think you will get. A lot of the time, what we think we will get isn't the end point, it is a starting point. So if deep down you want admiration from your partner after hitting a certain milestone, visualize you getting the admiration from your partner. Her saying, "Oh, I'm so proud of you for earning $20,000 a month." Visualize a short scene that implies that. Her saying, "I'm proud of you for making $20,000 a month," implies that you made $20,000 a month. So what that does is it'll invoke the most amount of emotional charge that you can. Because when you think that you want the money, you visualize the money, yes, you will feel some emotion, but it's not what you truly want. When you visualize what you truly want, that's when you get the most emotion out. When you get the most emotion out, that is when you program your subconscious mind. So I want you to do this and loop that short scene until you start feeling effort, until you start feeling strain. Now at that point, stop and go about your day. The subconscious mind doesn't like effort. It values ease, flowing. But that is essentially it. At that point, you would have programmed your subconscious mind. Your manifestation would be instant. The reason why it's instant is because there's more on an unseen level than there is on a seen level. It will take time for reality to catch up, but time doesn't have to be 10 years. Time can be tomorrow. Time can be the next day. Time can be whenever, right? And if you have done all of this, you would have learned how to act on a level in which the universe recognizes, and there's no option but to give you your desired reality. See, as Shakespeare said, the world's a stage and we're all actors. I've just taught you how to become the best actor to get the desired reality that you want. Anyways,